What's up, everyone? So I thought I would do a very quick video about energy and the lack of energy on these diets like keto or intermittent fasting or one meal a day or carnivore or keto carnivore. So essentially, I've come to this idea that some people do well on these diets and some people don't. And what I don't want you to do is go, oh, well, this guy did it, so it's fine. Or this girl did it and she did it and she's fine. The thing is that I can't talk today. It's because I'm in a friggin' hurry to get to the ranch. A lot of people don't explain their bad days. And it happens to all of us. I mean, the body is just not that perfect. Even I, who's done keto for 12 years without eating any carbs or sugars or sweet fruits, nothing, 0%. And the more I did keto, if I were to go out to a restaurant and somebody snuck in fructose, let's say, like that happened once, I instantly started getting boils on my face. So there are things to keep me in check, not only with my discipline, but also physically in check with staying clean, running clean on a clean machine. So essentially, people do these diets and all these gurus make it sound so easy and it's really not. So I'm here to sort of kind of like go against the grain and say that it's not easy. And if you do it wrong, you can suffer consequences from these low carb diets. I just got done with the consultation, and of course, talking to this woman made me want to go live. Sort of live. I am live, but you'll see it afterwards. And she had tried everything. Like I have the timeline of like I did keto here and I did it there. She never intermittent fasted. She's got like thyroid symptoms and she's got histamine symptoms and she's got gallbladder symptoms. And then she was doing the carnivore and eating 2 pounds of beef. And then it was like even more than that because then people said eat as much meat as possible. And then she started suffering more health issues, but her weight went down. And then she started feeling like her stool got loose doing keto, but then she's like, it's got to be my gallbladder symptoms. And so it's complicated. Now, a big problem is people's energy. Now I'm going to go through the whole stool thing and the microbiome thing. And I put up a post on my community tabs explaining like sometimes you might have to add fiber because people are just like, their diarrhea is not resolving. And here's another thing people do carnivore and they're like, oh, I had diarrhea, but it went away. Or people try to go back onto carbs and they can't. Now they're just histamine crazy. We still don't know why. I mean, people are assuming it could be an overdumping of bile salt, it could be a dysbiotic effect in the gut, but fiber seems to reintroduction of fiber, unfortunately, and fiber is really tough on the colon. I wish we didn't have to eat it, but unfortunately, if you have a dysbiotic gut, it might be the thing that helps you for the short term. But in nature, you shouldn't have to need fiber to poop. True enough. And you shouldn't have to use probiotics because our soils wouldn't be depleted and we would get our probiotics and our minerals and we'd have a strong gut wall. So now we have to start trying to add probiotics, and those things can actually weaken the gut wall if you're having a histamine or a histamine reaction to it, which if you have histamine, the gut's not going to seal up that wall, that small intestinal wall. So the energy thing, I'm starting to think that people are having pernicious anemia. Yes. With also combined with the MTHFRG mutation, which I think I spoke about my last live. And so they're eating meats, but they're still not getting in their B9, their folic acid. They're not getting in their B12. They're bad methylators. They sleep bad. People keep thinking that they're waking up to pee, but they're actually just waking up due to hypoglycemia or their gallbladder is trying to release sludge. And so then they're not sleeping, and then they're not sleeping well. So a lot of people who are doing like the intermittent fasting things, they don't sleep well because they already have dysregulated blood sugar, and then they don't eat for many hours, or then they'll try one meal a day. They're not in ketosis, and they've got real hardcore issues with insulin and blood sugar regulation, and they just feel worse. And so gurus out there won't tell you that they feel bad, because if they're selling products, it's very hard to be like, here, buy this. It may not work for you. And it didn't work for me for the last month, but buy it anyway. I mean, no one's going to buy that product. And that's why people get so confused. People are like, take keto chow, and they don't realize that some people are reacting to the chlorides in keto chow, or some people might react to glycinate, then they have to switch to malate, and some people go to glycinate. You have to do a lot of experimentation. The whole thing with the thing that's fascinating me right now is the fact that you guys have leaky gut, right? So you're taking foods high in B12 and you're not absorbing it. You may not have enough intrinsic factors. So I have this video that I wanted to play that goes into it a little bit. By the way, you guys, I want you to check out the PaleoFX. Go to paleofx.com. They are releasing, since nobody can meet in person right now because of the locked door. I know. You know how I like to change up words like the Rona. But they're having people go online, and I'll be there. I'm actually doing an interview with Keith Norris, the CEO of the PaleoFX, which these people are great. They have all these great speakers like which I love, like Rob Wolf. I can't speak today, so just ignore all that, like Spanglish. Rob Wolf and Nora Gagatis are two of my favorite people of all time. And obviously Keith Norris and his wife. But Keith Norris is the shite. Real cool guy. But you can go online. You guys know I'm going to be speaking also at Dr. Berg's online summit, which we were supposed to do it live, and now we can't. But with that said, go to paleofx.com. They're showing videos right now. I cannot talk today, so whatever. I'm always like this when I'm trying to rush, because a vet is coming soon in an hour. So I've got to finish this, upload it, add a stupid thumbnail and a clickbait thing, and then go to the ranch. And the vet is coming for another horse, but I love to talk to doctors. So I'm excited. Okay. You guys know I just rescued a horse, and I ran into a woman yesterday who was like, what have you done to that horse? He was amazing. And I was like, she's like, he was totally abused at the last place. So I'm really happy to have him now. But yeah, go to paleofx.com and check out their new, all their seminars and webinars on keto, especially keto, not paleo, but keto. And I'll be one of them. So if you guys want to watch me and my talk, go there. Definitely, please go there. I don't say that. That's not me. Stop. It would be cool to go there. That's how stuff rolls. And check out their video series at the PaleoFX. I think it's .com. I hope it's not .org. Just Google PaleoFX. And I'll be interviewing, like I said, Keith next Friday. No, this Friday. 10 a.m. Los Angeles time. Pacific Standard Time. Now, intrinsic factor. Now your stomach is in the parietal cells is releasing intrinsic factor, which is going to help B12 get into the intrinsic factor receptor sites. So you can get in the B12 through your stomach. But when you have hypochlorhydria and low stomach acid and a weak gut wall, you're not absorbing these things. So B12 is through the stomach. And a lot of people are having low energy because they're not absorbing their fat soluble vitamins. They're eating a lot of protein. They're trying to get their fats up by eating a lot of protein. People become dehydrated because their electrolytes are off, because of course, when you drop down the carbohydrates, you become dehydrated because you don't balance your electrolytes. Everyone is different. Some people can do citrate, supplemental. Some people can't. You do too much. You have heart palps and tingly fingers. Some people, the broth is enough, meat broth, and sometimes it's not. Some people react to it. If you're reacting to broth, cook it at higher temperatures for an hour. It's just, we're trying to get to the potassium at this juncture. And don't slow cook it. I mean, people are getting histamine really bad now, like bad, especially when they go carnivore and they don't like do it in a smart way, and then they can't go back. So one woman that's on my course page, so I have a course page. It's a keto course where I teach all the diets, like low carb, omnivore, carnivore, all of that. And she said, oh, my tongue, it itches and it's red and it's thick and it's burning. And so here I ran into this thing of having pernicious anemia, will do to you, which is those symptoms. So I was really excited to go and tell her that, to think about getting some intrinsic factors. Now, you can't do it for too long because it can deplete your potassium. The whole point is to not be on these supplements too long. There's nothing better than Mother Nature. That's the reason why I do keto with an avocado. A lot of you can't tolerate avocado. Luckily, I can, and I'm not messing with my electrolytes. 12 years on keto, and that's the one thing that went left. So now I'm on that shite. This guy was like DMing me, you can't take magnesium when you're doing keto because it's like not being absorbed. I'm like, can you say that on someone else's page, please? I'm just having such a good day. Okay, here we go. I'm going to play a video. I'm just new to StreamYard. So let's get this popping. And I just want to go into a few seconds explaining intrinsic factor and pernicious anemia, which a lot of people have, and then they're not aware of it. So it's really cool. You know, stuff's chill today, although soon I'll be running out of here. Here we go.
Vitamin B12 absorption. This molecule is intrinsic factor. The intrinsic factor released in the stomach will travel to the small intestine as well. Now within the small intestine, the pancreas secretes its juices, the amylases, the lipases, as well as proteases, which will break down protein. Proteases break down the R binder, which will liberate the vitamin B12 once again. In the small intestine, the liberated vitamin B12 has affinity for the intrinsic factor. And so they form the vitamin B12 intrinsic factor complex. This complex then will travel through the small intestine towards the end of the small intestine, the ileum. Now, within the ileum, there are receptors for intrinsic factor. So here, if we zoom into this section, we can see that there's ileal cells, and on the basal side of these cells are of these columnar ileal cells is the portal vein, which will return blood to the liver. Anyways, it's on the apical surface of these cells where we find intrinsic factor receptors. So when the intrinsic factor carrying the vitamin B12 comes along, it will bind onto the intrinsic factor receptor, and then this whole thing will get endostized. So when the vitamin B12 is absorbed, it will be released into the plasma. And in the plasma, the vitamin B12 will bind onto plasma proteins called transcobalamin 2. 20% of vitamin B12 binds to transcobalamin 2 in the plasma. However, interestingly, the majority of vitamin B12 is bound to transcobalamin 1. Remember, also known as the R binder. Transcobalamin 2.
Okay, guys, so I thought I would stop there because it gets more complicated and it's very confusing. So it's actually absorbed. The receptor sites are actually in the ileum. So that is very, very important to understand. And I thought that the drawings of this was so good to explain. Let me see, mess with this StreamYard. Oh, interesting. Okay, let's go back here. Yeah. There we go. I thought this was very interesting, why people tend to be exhausted. And I would, in the past, I would say, oh, you're just not adapted yet. Well, yeah, you're not adapted, but you're also dealing with other flames in the body, which is malabsorption of B12 because you're not making enough intrinsic factor, which is going to help the B12 bind to the intrinsic factor receptor site, which works like a catcher's mitt and takes things into the cell so it can go into the plasma. And this is a problem with people doing intermittent fasting, low carb, high fat, keto, omnivore, and carnivore, because you guys are having hypochlorhydria, you're drinking alcohol, you're drinking caffeine, you guys are going through stress, you're not sleeping well, you think you're waking up in the middle of the night because you have to pee when really your blood sugar destabilized, and you're going through hypoglycemia in the middle of the night, and all of these things will make it very difficult to uptake B12 and have the energy. And then you guys might develop, which is enough oxygen to the red blood cells then you feel really tired. So then you have that on top of hypochlorhydria, on top of not adapting, and then you're ravenously hungry, and then you just completely want to eat a bunch of protein because you're not getting enough energy. And that also, the energy in B12, and then your body's like, well, let's eat more because we need more energy. And it's just a negative loop. So this is just a quickie. It's a deep dive to try to explain why people don't keto adapt, why people lie, who are gurus and say they're fabulous all the time, and look how muscular I am, and look my abs pop, and I can do that to you guys all day long, and then have the 2 or week or month worst of my life of feeling tired, and I wouldn't know why, or having heart palps and I didn't know my electrolytes were off, and things of this nature. And these are things that people don't talk about, and I'm trying to talk about it. And I did a video saying, like, men, stop giving women advice. It's a clickbait, guys. It's just to say, like, women are losing their menstrual cycle. They're going through hair loss. I don't hear a lot of the guys who are gurus talking about this, because they're often going, well, look how well I look and look how great I'm doing. And it's just not that simple. Men are, their testosterone's dropping. They're also having issues with their electrolytes and swelling. I know that because I do consultations with men with this problem. So you guys, I'm doing consultations. You can go to stephanieperson.com. I should go to my website, but I don't feel like, I'll do it later now that I can screen share. Or you can also go to my course page, which is also through stephanieperson.com. I say the price just because it's so low. It's $15 a month. So you can try it for a month. If you don't like it, you can just move on. But I work my butt off on it. And eventually I will move it to my website, because it's almost too much work for Steph. It's too interactive. It's like tag Steph. But don't tag Steph. We have specific days for people to tag me with questions. But sometimes just talking to people, the everyday person, and figuring out, like, what time do you go to bed? Are you having hypoglycemia in the middle of the night? A lot of health practitioners and natural functional doctors, they don't look at that. Like the thyroid, looking at the time, the thyroid tests can be very inconclusive. You got to do them every 6 weeks, a full panel 3 times. But really, symptoms are really great to go by. We're not designed to be on pills our whole life, and not even supplements. People with gallbladder issues, like the woman I spoke to earlier today, I was like, dude, she sits 8 hours a day, even through the Rona. She's sitting all day, and I was like, that estrogen's just getting stuck in the biliary system, and it's creating gallbladder issues. And I said, if you didn't have a gallbladder issue, you wouldn't be stuffing down so much protein, because she's ravenously hungry. So leptin signaling, candida will make you ravenously hungry. And the fact that she's just not eating any carbs, her energy is low, her B12 is most likely low. She does have a single gene mutation from one parent, and from having the MTHFR gene mutation, which really isn't a thing if you can methylate. A lot of people aren't eating liver. I tell people to take thymus. I am sponsored by Ancestral Supplements, which that code is Steph Keto. But even if that's if I can write it on the screen. Yeah. I'll go through their website too, but not today. I just put, I can't, it says I can't put comments in my own private videos. It's private it right now. Anyway, Steph Keto with capital S, capital K, but whatever. Besides that, all the affiliate, whatever, eating real thymus is really, really important for people who've got histamine intolerance, because it helps you to produce diamine oxidase, which breaks down the histamine, so you don't feel like absolute crap. And if you feel like crap, you're not going to adapt. And if your B12 is low, so there's a lot of little parts that have to fit together. And once you get it, then you feel great. Then you're not bloated and watery, and your body will start using its own body fat, and your body fat percentage will go down without catabolizing the muscle and becoming too gluconeogenic of the muscle, and creating more thyroid issues. And so don't eat until you're full. Protein does not have enough of it. People aren't talking about, all of the gurus out there talking about organ meats, like Frank Tufano. I think that's great. I think also Paul Saladino talks about organ meats, and that's really, really important. And the quality of meat does matter. I mean, it's better than Panda Express at McDonald's, but quality of meat does matter. It really does. And getting some really nice sheep, goat, or calf thymus that's pastured is really going to help you a lot. Or kidney if you can't get thymus, or both. Or try the supplements, but don't leave them out on a counter, you guys, because if you have histamine, that bacteria is going to collect to that. And I realized that myself when having a bottle of colostrum out in the summer, and I was like, oh, it's not working. I'm starting to actually have, I was having blister. That's what happens to me with the histamine. I'll have blisters around my mouth. And so there you go. For free content, go to my Instagram. I should go to that. I can do that later. Oh, this is so fun. You can go to my Instagram, which is Stephanie Ketogenic, or free content right here on YouTube. Let me know what you want me to talk about in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the notification bell and all that stuff. Or you can go to Stephanie, the business person, on my Facebook fan page. I have a business page, but it's like too many Facebooks. Like it's an old face. I do free content there every day. Or you just sign up for my keto course, which covers carnivore as well. And I'm out. Yes, we need to talk about hormones, and we need to talk about like PCOS. We need to talk about low testosterone, men and in women, skin issues, eczema, histamine, chronic constipation or loose stool, chronic lethargy, which a lot of these people either have anemia or pernicious anemia, which is my new hot button subject. Obviously, thyroid's a big one in men and women. Gallbladder problems doing these high-fat diets. How to do these high-fat diets where you don't feel pain. Even you can react to some of the fats. You have to rotate and do a lot of experimentation, which should be another video. I have to write down these things or forget. Because I got to go see my boy Thunder, which I love. He's my new horse, and I call him my boyfriend because he lets me get on his back and go through the trails. I won't say the other word because it doesn't sound too good for me because I'm a clean channel. You know, sarcastic, but clean. All right, guys. I don't say stay safe to people. I say stay healthy and stay knowledgeable and stay calm. Turn off your TV. And I'm out. Bye, guys.